care. Hi, namaste, and welcome to another episode of dLife.in podcast series. I'm Ira Sahay, a metabolic health coach based out of Mumbai. I'm the media head of dLife.in and also your host for this afternoon. I welcome my guest for today, Neeta Brid, who is a member of dLife.in and Goa's first low-carb nutrition coach, certified by India's oldest and only award-winning low-carb platform, dLife.in. dLife was founded by Anup Singh, an engineer, a silver medalist from the distinguished IIT Roorkee. Anup is a pill-free diabetic since 2011 and pioneered the idea of 100-gram carbs per day on a low-carb diet for Indians for diabetes remission. With 3,000 plus combined success stories of diabetes and other metabolic diseases remission on the dLife platform, Anup Singh, along with Shashikant Iyengar, was also the co-organizer of the recently concluded historic India's first low-carb conference that brought together 47 top-of-the-line global icons on a single platform across three marathon days. My guest, Neeta, tells me that she became a hotelier by chance. Had she not been one, she'd almost become an engineer. Neeta's has been a personal journey of trials and tribulations, of losses, frustrations, emotional distress, and finally learning lessons the hard way. Her trials with obesity, hypertension, myasthenia gravis, a fatal car accident amidst so much going on in her life already, over many, many years, reached a point of no return, or as she thought, and hence she called her life a constant battle with punch. But as they say, when you've hit the rock bottom, the only place you go from there is up. Neeta reached a point of powerful self awakening and took charge of her life while she still had time and opportunity. She's the perfect example of it's never too late if you got the will. Neeta is married to Nikhil Brid, who's also here with us today, and is mother to 24-year-old Sahil. She did a hotel management from India, followed by revenue management from Singapore, and a general management course from New York. Today, Neeta is at the top of her game with a solid low carb nutrition plan and consistent workouts and martial art regimes that have put her health back on track. Neeta has lost a whopping 40 kgs of weight, has put a lot of her health conditions into remission, and is now sitting much more confidently as the vice president of one of the leading promoter companies in India that owns three hotels managed by a leading chain of hotels in India. Let's hear the story of one of the greatest women I've ever known, the charming and chirpy Neeta Brid. I call her Neeta Bird. Hi, Neeta, and welcome to the wonderful dLife podcast. How are you feeling this afternoon?
My God, Ira, thank you so much. And when you were just talking about D Life and me and everything and introducing me, I was thinking, who are you talking about? And thank you so much for putting me up there and having me over today, as your speaker. I'm feeling terrific. I'm feeling very good. And I'm looking forward to this session with you today.
Welcome, Neeta. So,
Thank you.
I've already given a brief background. As we start the story, I think we would like to hear it from Neeta herself. Neeta, give us a brief background of your growing up years and the kind of food you grew up eating, because we are calling the story, your story, Battle with Bulge. So let's come to the point where you were growing up and the kind of food or the culture that you were being brought up in, and your and the impact of that food on your overall health.
Yeah, good question to start this because we all have to start from where we begin and get conditioned, right? I'm actually born in a very traditional and conservative Rajasthani family and from Jodhpur, where there was no place even for eggs, Ira. So I come from that kind of background. And I believe when we are born, each of us are actually, we start with a clean slate in life. Then begins the conditioning and, when you're 6 months old, what's actually, put in your mouth. And then um, basically the traditions, take over. And from where I come, Jodhpur, Rajasthan, my parents both believed in good vegetarian food. We were always carb rich. India is carb rich when it begins when we talk about food. be it rotis, be it rice, mithai. In fact, in Jodhpur, we begin our meal with a mithai, a sweet. And everything has to be combined with namkeen, which is called bhujia or lesun ki sev, and everything is savory. And before you know, you're just kind of eating this 3 4 5 times a day. And then there is something called some very healthy, which is fruit, which has to be eaten also, right? So yes, all that then was the go-to food. And so it was for me too. And I remember people would come when I was 3-year-old 4-year-old, because that's how long my memory can only go back, would see me and say, okay, Mrs. Daya, you have such a chubby child. She's so cute. She has pink cheeks. That time my father was posted in Sikkim. He's a mining engineer, actually. He's retired now. So we were all over the country on transferable jobs. And everybody thought I was plump, and plump was cute, and vice versa. And it became a part of my being. And what to say, Ira? I mean, I was a chubby child. I became a nice, plump teenager, and I became a fat adult.
Mm. Anita, as you told me that you were always kind of overweight and obese, and nobody realized that. Or maybe people, out of love, in India as it is, they don't realize. But for you, how was it as a growing up teenager, adolescent? How did the food, that you were eating impact your self-image, or how did you, kind of get to see that in other people's reaction or how they behaved with you? What was it? Tell us about it.
Yes, so yes. I mean, okay. People would say, chubby. It was taken as a positive stroke. Then, of course, you join school, and I was academically always very, very good, and I always stood first. At least till 10th standard, I always stood first. But yes, in physical training, that is PT, I was always last in races. I could not even do a spoon and lemon race without chafing my thighs and putting them on fire. And it was normal to be called a fatso, or the fat one, or the moti in the group, or you stand in behind, because you will delay the entire group if there is any kind of a group team building exercise. So somewhere, Ira, as you grow, at that point everything is fine, and then you get into your other lessons and life. But it stays in, it kind of remains in you, that you are that fat kid, and everybody looks at you with those lenses. That happened to me also. And that was pretty much my growing up years. And that was maybe till I was in my early teens. In the teens, we girls, we do get a little awkward, and we don't know how to kind of even behave. And the eating was continuing simultaneously. So I just immersed myself in books, and I did very well in my studies. But I never really grew up in a family which was into fitness. We were like, wake up in the morning, do your puja, go to school, come back, study, do the homework, meet some uncles and aunties at social events, and that's about it. Nobody taught me, or I never saw in my family anybody going for a run, anybody even trying to do any skipping at home. Nothing. Whatever little exercise I got was because we would go out as friends and come back. That was about it. So I never ever thought that there is anything about fitness that I should ever be doing. And that was my life till about 2009.
Mm. Neeta, so that kind of makes me ask you this. Was there any escape mechanism? Because as you said, you were put behind in the line, or people maybe were not too enthusiastic towards you being in some kind of sports activity and stuff like that. Was there a mechanism to escape for you? Because it impacts your self-esteem, it impacts your kind of self-image as a child or as an adolescent, when you found people doing that, what was your escape mechanism? Was it just the food, or how was it?
The escape mechanism, of course, was food. I mean,
Mm.
you go in on a binging, and food becomes your comfort, and it's a vicious cycle. You go on and on eating, and then you're always hungry. And the other thing was, I'm a voracious reader, so I would read novels, I would read books and magazines. So that was how it was, and it didn't really help the case at that point, but I thought I was helping myself by doing that, and shying away from everything. Till about I finished my hotel management, I considered myself to be a very shy girl, and I was not an extrovert, and because of low self esteem, I guess that's how I would say. I wouldn't want to come out from the curtains and even meet anybody. I would just run back to doing what I was doing. But I was eating. I would sit, I would have a bowl in my hand, and subconsciously I would eat, 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 eat. That's how it was.
Mm. So I was coming to the next question was this. You were dealing with a lot of emotional issues, as you told me, and were mostly on high carb and junk food. Do you think emotional eating disorder and food addictions are real? And how and when did you identify you are in a vicious cycle? What did you do about
Yeah, I totally believe that there is something called emotional eating disorder. Okay. I am a victim of that, and a living, walking example of that. Um, I had started piling kilos, and this was when I just passed out. I was age of 21. I started working. And before I knew anything, I was weighing 100 kgs. I was a chef to begin with. And at some point in 99, my son was born. And remember, I said I come from this very traditional Marwadi family. And I'll open up to the entire group sitting here because I consider you all as my own. That was my first marriage, and it wasn't a smooth one. And I won't talk much about it. I'll leave it at that. The best thing from that marriage, of course, was my son Sahil. Well, so emotional turbulence is a place where I wouldn't wish for anybody to be in, because Ira, that is what basically starts putting you off balance to begin with. Personally, when internally everything is shaky and not in good tandem with your mind, with how you are and all that, it can add to what I was already going through internally. So I have put on 100 kgs. Post delivery, I went to my mother's house. We were fed all kinds of really foods that were traditionally considered, Ira, to be making me stronger and healthier. Have these laddus, have these sweets. This will keep your bones strong. Have this kind of carb loaded food. Have these things which will keep you going for long. Your skin will be better and all that. Imagine growing up on that kind of a foundation. I'm sure it's just not me, must be many, but I'm talking about me here. From that, and at that point I was only doing it with the faith, but it was actually the opposite of what should have been done, right? And I was walking at 100 kgs, and I was working. I resumed work, and I have a very demanding job. At that point I was in hotel operations, and every VIP coming to the hotel, one had to run, meet, greet, come back, and go through meetings and preparation and all that. There was really no time for me to think about, again, till now I'm not thinking clean eating. I'm not thinking that there is fitness. I'm thinking food is the elixir of life. This food that I was eating. Okay. One day there is a very famous actress, and all those would keep checking in. And her name is Soha Ali Khan. You may know, most of you. She's a very fit actress, And she checked in into the hotel, and the reception desk called me, "Ma'am, you must come. She's in. You need to." So, such VIPs, we walk them to the room. You stayed at Siddharth Goa, and you've seen the kind of building there is. There is a +2 level, -2 level, no lifts. It's an old world charm hotel. So we started walking. My God, she was walking brisk, fast, and I don't know, 100 steps in maybe 1 minute. I don't know what she was doing. And I was trying to catch my breath. at 105 kgs. I just couldn't keep pace. I started going breathless, and she noticed it, and she said, ma'am, she called me ma'am, and she says, and I was imagine 33-year-old, and I looked like some 60-year-old, okay, at that point. And she said, ma'am, you must not walk with me. Please have some water and catch your breath. I will find from the room signages where I need to go. That for me, in one way, more than one way or the other, for me, that was a turning point. I said, if I cannot even walk, I cannot even be there for myself. I mean, and people here have to now start taking note of how I am. That was absolutely a
Yeah.
very, very sinking feeling,
Yeah.
And yeah, that is how it was, Ira.
Yeah. So before we move into what you did, there came a point in your life, Neeta, in 2009, when one morning you woke up uh, with some part of your lips not moving. By evening, Neeta couldn't even swallow and was rushed to the emergency. She now had something called, we've heard about it, it's Myasthenia Gravis, for which she was put on steroids for almost 2 years. And that took its own toll. She also had eczema and hypertension, besides being overweight and everything else that, Neeta was going through. Neeta, tell us about your health complications at that point of time, and because you were going through them since a long time, and how did you finally take charge? You already told us about the kind of turning point that really shook you because you were not able to perform what you should naturally have been able to do. But then tell us the complications that you were having in your body at that point of time.
I hope you allow me to elaborate this because this is a kind of a long answer. And you can interject, Ira, and tell me if I'm going overboard because I'm trying to put my life from 2004 to 2009. I'm talking about 5 years. Um, I'm trying to put all that as much as possible, okay, and help me as I go along as well. So, and this is a very, very touchy topic for me because I really have to transport myself back to that. It was one of the lowest phases in my life. Nobody knew that there is something called anxiety or there is a low feeling or there is depression and all that. All those things are now. Today, people talk about it openly. Those days, nobody. As you said, my only vent was food and work, food, work, and then of course my child was growing up at that time, so much part of it was there. I started being morbidly obese at the age of 33, 34. I developed eczema in my feet. I couldn't wear long pants. I couldn't sleep in pajamas. I had to keep applying some kinds of steroid applications and all that for that itchy feeling to go away. There were scars. I would get all kinds of, wounds. And wherever I would scratch, I had to keep my nails really short and all those things. And literally in the night, I would wear gloves and sleep so that I was not scratching in the night. Then from there came a point that I met with an accident and I had 14 fractures in my hand. I mean, there's only so much that, it can go on. My mother had cancer at that point. Somewhere emotionally, I was very, very close to her. So that added. As if that was not enough. And I understand now why all this was happening. If carbs is a vicious cycle, no, era of eating, I would say starting with OPDs, clinics, hospitals is also a vicious cycle. Let me tell you. One thing leads to another, one medication leads to another. You are in and out, in and out. And that was how it was. Every other day, I was going to meet this specialist, that specialist, and those things were happening to me. I one day had a horrible headache and I didn't know what was happening to me. And I'm in the thick of my work and walking, but your body is body. My head was going to split. The hotel doctor came to me and said, ma'am, we need to take your pressure. It was 180 by 120, 25, lower though I don't even remember, but 180. And I was really rushed back into, the Manipal hospital emergency. That time I was put on blood pressure medication. As I was coming out of it, I kept having a burning sensation in my head. And I said, what is this now? That happened to be occipital neuralgia. I have done so much research because my father just logged into this call. I saw his name. He would say, you really you attract really these very, very fancy sounding diseases. How do you do that? Well, that is how I also kind of took it in my spirit and went along. So I had occipital neuralgia that spread into a like, what is it called? The glossopharyngeal neuralgia. You cannot sit for 1 second with the neuralgia pain, Ira. Continuously, second by second, it it pains, and that pain is a burning, stabbing pain. Okay, I was taking Tegretol. I would, in meetings, I would fall off asleep. My teammates, colleagues at work, my promoters, they have all supported me through all this ordeal. But looking back, I think, oh my God, it was like a relay, one after another, one after another. What is happening to me here? Then they said, okay, this neuralgia and all that, these are all autoimmune problems, and your own immune system is now attacking you. Okay, fine. I had to take injections at the scalp where the occipital nerve starts. That, there was a doctor from America who did pain management, and they were trying all this on me in Goa. Okay, some helped, some did not, but I was taking a lot of medication at that time. One fine day, I'm going to brush my teeth and I can't rinse. I'm putting water, it's just flowing. And I said, okay, now what else now? Okay. And I really panicked. I sat down in the wash basin and I said, okay. And I was to travel to Pune that day. Called and I said, I cannot make this travel. Something is not right. My father took me to the dean of Goa Medical College, Dr. Jindal, who is a neurologist and a neurosurgeon himself. Immediately, MRIs and scans were done. They couldn't find anything. Tests and more tests, it was diagnosed as Myasthenia Gravis. Okay, now I have to read up on what this is. The doctor simply said, you're a lucky girl. You have a Amitabh Bachchan disorder. I said, oh, Amitabh Bachchan disorder means Amitabh Bachchan is doing really well. He is my role model. I think I should be able to come out of this one. I didn't even know the gravity of the situation. By evening, I couldn't swallow. Um, my father, I was pretty much single at that point. My father had to sign in the hospital before they were to put me on a machine, on a ventilator, to say that, her breathing muscles may also collapse. It didn't go to that extent, but he had to sign off a lot of papers, okay, that she's not looking good. um, I couldn't even, swallow my saliva. And I was drooling like this, and my God, then started this 2 year ordeal of steroids, prednisones and corticosteroids, and we now know what all these cortisols and hormones do to you, or when what they do to you when they are suppressed, right? For 2 years, and they start tapering, Ira. They started to start with a small dosage, and then it goes, I don't know if I'm right, if I don't know, 1000 mg, I don't even remember, but I went to that. After 1.5 years they started tapering it for me. But in the bargain, those steroids created a havoc, fatty liver, skin that could just cut. I would open the shoe shelf and I had a cut and bleed. I would do something and my heart rate was, my heartbeat would go up. That's my father waiting to be admitted, Ira. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you. They did it. My heartbeat would just go. I would be in meetings and I would think my heart is jumping out because of those palpitations and whatever those steroids cause. Okay. And I came from the hospital and I told my father, I said, I need to make a will. And what was I in 2009? I must have been 38 years old. I said, my son is growing up and I need to make a will, Papa. And everything nominee has to be Sahil or you. and you need to sort out my life for me, because I don't think I can come out of this now. I was counting 28 medicines every day, subah se sham, one after another, and that side effects were something else, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I literally crashed. I had a nervous breakdown also. So yeah, I mean, Ira, that is how real the whole thing has been, you know.
Yeah. Oh, Neeta, what a journey of tests and tribulations. I mean, 28 pills you were popping in a day,
Yeah, I
and
was.
sites working, and a child on hand, and all of that. This is commendable.
And with
Uh,
that, I was eating carb loaded food, mind you. You
mhm.
have to eat food because the steroid will burn your stomach lining. You have to do this because this will happen, that will happen. So nobody told me that there is something which needs to be combined. And everything was being caused by eating. Everything was being caused by emotional stresses. Um, I think most of it were kind of brought in by myself only, I guess. And I had no idea. I really thought I will not make it for my 40th birthday.
At one point of time, you had told me you touched about 120 kgs,
Yeah,
and
with
and
all this.
and yes, and that was at the peak, of everything in your life. How much do you weigh now, if I can ask you, and how did you reach here? Let us
80.
inspire people.
I weigh 80 kgs. But I know I'll tell you the journey to 80 in a bit. But that 80, no, I don't know what it is. I walk around chocolates, I walk around anything, and I just become 90. I don't know that magic I have. I don't but it happens to me. Food does that to me.
Yeah. So you lost 40 kgs, Neeta.
Yeah, 45 actually, but let's keep it an average of 40. Yeah.
Okay. What are the things that you did to reach here in a brief? I mean, once you realized that you had touched your tipping point, I mean, there's no place where you could have gone beyond that. Everything was becoming
Yeah.
dysfunctional. So how
Yeah.
did you get it back? How did you get back into the game again? Tell us.
Yes. My life is a story of destinies, if I can say. At some point, when I was 125 kgs, a very dear friend and a colleague at that point, her name is Sanchita Banerjee. She was heading the sales with me. She was an ace swimmer and a fit girl, and like you, beautiful, great personality. She said, "How long?" And I was telling her, Sanchita, I'm making a will for Sahil. She said, "Tish, what are you talking about? I know of a new dietitian in Panjim. She sits out of Goa Marriott, and we should go to her. Let's just go." I said, "I'm not going anywhere. No, no, you have to come. You have to come." We went, and to cut the long story short, my first 20 kgs were with the dietitian. That school of nutrition was keeping your metabolic rate active. And I was to eat 8 small meals in a day, start with some kind of a concoction or kada, as we call it, made of herbs. Every week I would go, she would make me stand on the scale. 1 week I would lose, 1 week I would put on, 1 week I would lose more. And that cycle went on. I mean, I went to her for some years actually. And honestly, she did help me at that point.
But
And I would start.
Neeta, just one question here. You said you lost 20 kgs of that weight, and while you were with her, did that weight come back again to you after you left that program?
Gradually, instantaneously actually, I would stop, take a holiday, go, come back, I was 5 kgs up. So that was a very very good interjection here. Actually, I would pile that in a jiffy. Within 2 months I would go back to being 15, 10, 20. That was a normal norm for me. My body was yo-yoing like anything in terms of weight. I learned to swim because with 125, you cannot walk, you cannot run, you cannot do anything. I had knee pain. My ankles would be swollen with water, and my son would press the the sides, and there would be like these little bowls, okay, because the I had that kind of a water retention. So I started swimming. I started loving swimming. And now, and I started swimming for 1 hour. That toned me, helped me. I have loose skin and everything, yeah, but that helped me a lot at that point. So yes, the 6 meals. What have I not tried either? I've tried herbal life shakes. I would lose, boom, come back again. I tried General Motors or General Manager, GM diet, it's called, right? One day only banana, one day only tomato, one day I tried that. I really, in that 7 days would lose 7 kgs, all that water, okay? Now I know. I didn't know then. And come and then, get into a comfort zone again. Okay, I've lost weight. People say you're looking good. Go back to it, start eating. I took slimming capsules. I'm not kidding you. All these were trials by my doctors at that point. I have done everything. I only ate cabbage, some diet I did for some time, and I look at cabbage and I feel like puking even today. So I have done all of that. But every time it has come back, I have worked so hard for kind of shedding the excess weight. But it was a very, very difficult task. The struggle is real. It's real.
I can totally understand. Neeta, at that point of time, as I understand it, there were 6 to 8 meals that you were doing with, various dietitians, and of which, your weight would come off and then it would, kind of come back immediately, and you were doing swimming and stuff like that. How did low carb happen to you?
Yeah.
And when did that happen? And tell us about that.
Yes. Thank you for asking me this question. And so somewhere, as I said, my life is of good karmic, I think, closures. I reconnected with Nikhil Brid, who is my husband, and he's my classmate. And then we were married eventually. And he is all into fitness. He is into clean eating. First of all, he came home and he threw away all the junk that I would have in my fridge. My fridge looks 720 degrees different from what it used to be then. I got into fitness. I learned swimming. I started there. I took a trainer at gym. I got into push-pull exercises. I would do 10K marathons. I would do them so often. I have a lot of lady friends, could be on the call just now. I had their backs supporting me. I learned the CrossFit format. I'm doing MMA, as you said. All these things did happen. Somewhere in this journey of the last few years, in research, I've forever been researching how to be fit, okay? I found some term called intermittent fasting. It started from there, Ira. I logged on to some international Facebook group, and I started doing intermittent fasting, 16/8, 18/6, 24. I've kept it at that maximum. Today, to date, I follow that regimen actually. That helped me so much. But again, you start eating a little bit out of window here and there. That was also not sustaining. In that intermittent fasting forum, I would see the word keto. No idea what that was, what is keto and all that. So they said, oh, the body needs to go into ketosis and stuff like that.
Just
And
one
you have
second,
to,
one
hmm,
interjection, Neeta. What timeline are we looking at? This is about
this
what
is,
year?
this must be 4 years back,
Okay,
4 years back.
please carry.
But yeah, so keto, and I happened to discuss it with somebody. There is keto. So they said, don't even try it. Neeta, you have so much problems, and you are, you are loaded with a lot of historic issues of autoimmune, neurology issues, and obesity, and all these issues. And I was also pre-diabetic. I reversed that as well with all this now. I'll talk about it. So BP, etc., etc. I don't think you should get into keto. First to harm will be your kidneys. Again, you'll be back into it. I said, oh my God, it is so scary. I am not going to. And then, yeah, how can you leave breads? How can you leave roti and rice? And that was a no-go, right? So anyways, that went on for some time. And yeah, and I think about that time itself, I realized that food is the only thing which is making me go haywire. Okay. I realized whatever I did, 90% of it, the food was going wrong. I was treating it like a poison, not as an elixir of life. I was making a mistake. So I knew so I got into Eric Bergs and Jason Fungs and sab kuch. So I said, why nobody in India is doing this, Ira? That is how it was.
Hmm. So what happened next, Neeta? Once you came on to kind of reading about keto, and once you came on to, knowing about these people who were slowly leading you up to where you were eventually, you eventually reached. So what happened after this? After you discovered that there's something called keto, there's something called intermittent fasting. How was your kind of transformation into low carb really when it happened?
Yeah. So then, in all this, I don't know how many of you have heard, there is one more diet, Jagannath Dikshit diet. I did that too. I would save the samosa to eat in that 50 minutes window. Okay. But
Okay.
so anyways, okay, then I read a lot about low carb, and I said, okay, if not keto, low carb, and what's net 50, what's 100 grams, I wouldn't know, but I would stick to one roti. I said carbs, one meal a day. Honestly, I started feeling better with that, and till now I have no signs about it how it was happening. I watched a Shark Tank episode, okay? And in that, I saw some Keto India. And I said, okay, fine. Abhi, I am pushed to the corner. What worse can happen to me, okay? I have to try this keto. By then, two of my lady friends were into keto and they seemed to be doing really well because they were preparing for Iron Man. I got into it, Ira, and I did a 6 months course on Keto India. It was that time on Twitter, I went to follow their handle, keto.india or levofy, something like that. And when you search that word and India, you find a lot of latest and about, and a lot of things pop up, right? There, I saw one name, Sashikant Iyengar. I said, okay, I clicked,
The
and then he
keto
has a
king, the keto king. We call him the
keto
keto
king.
king,
Yeah,
and
now
rightly so. Yes.
rightly so. And I see a pinned post of Sashikant Iyengar, and it says, "Oh, I was a pharma professional and executive, and I have now adapted to this lifestyle. This is my before, this is my after." And he wrote like that was about a year and a half back, right? So 6, 7 years he's been on a keto diet. I said it can't be so bad, right? And I started reading into his tweets and all that. And I said, okay, let me follow him. Let something start coming on my timeline. That's how my journey officially on low carb has started, Ira. And I'm not talking very long back, 24 months maybe.
Yeah. So after Shashi, how did you come to dLife, Neeta? And after seeing all that keto thing and Shashi tweeting about stuff like that, how did the entire concept of low carb plus the diploma course that you eventually joined, how did that happen? Tell us the journey.
Yeah, I think the best thing to have happened was to find Sashi first. I'll never, ever forget that. And after Sashi, another gentleman, Mr. Arun Kumar, he would also, I would see his tweets, retweets, and all that. I said, and his tweets, and he's there on the platform just now. Arun's tweets are like little lessons and quotes, very
Mhm.
simple and to the point, very, very hard hitting also, and you can understand it very well. There was not too much of nutrition, this and this point something ounces, all that is not there. And I started really following Arun's tweets at that point. I was reading his biodata, and he said, I'm a dLife member. That's how I got into exploring and understanding what dLife. I even spoke about it at home, and I was telling my husband, there is a platform in India which I've been desperately hunting. All the time I'm watching YouTubes of some of these international guys, and much of it cannot apply to our kind of lifestyles, right? I said there is something. So I clicked and I went to the website and I see dlife.in. Beyond 2 pages and all that, it doesn't let you in. It says you have to upgrade to become a member, and you have to pay, and there are certain sets of fees, and very, very well made website actually. Okay. Two things came to my mind. I said, okay, there is a filtration of rate there, which means it's not a riffraff attracting platform.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there is, everybody will just go in and kind of, make it not to that level and class. I said, this doesn't seem like a, just by the by, kind of a website. So I said, there is a charge. A charge means, okay, it's good. But I said, why should I invest this? Because I don't know what I'm going to get out of it. So I went into this thing. For a couple of months, I still went on about it. Then I said, let me find out. Then I went and followed the dLife Twitter handle. There I saw founder Anup Singh's name. I followed that handle for some time. And all that Anup was tweeting was, join the course, this many seats left. This is how the course is. I said, okay, fine. Went, clicked the link, etc. I said, let me first find out who and what Anup is made of. Okay. I clicked that and I'm saying, this is an IITian. And an IITian is doing and propagating about low life nutrition, dLife nutrition, dLife.in. Okay, it holds some water, right? And he's an educated man and he's doing this. And honestly, Ira, I was so tired of all the time trying new experiments to keep my weight down. Because as I said, from 80, I would touch 100 like anything. At some point, my motivations and levels in mind would be so strong that I would lose it all back, but again back. I said, okay, no harm in understanding this course. What can it do to me, right? It will only equip me and arm me with a great bank of knowledge and what I should be doing right for myself. And by this time, I thought I should register. Rest is history, Ira. I registered. The moment I registered, Anup adds me to this very buzzing um, WhatsApp group, okay, a community, the dLife community. The welcome I got in that group, I couldn't even cope up with those messages. Everybody. And now I know so many because I'm part of it for over half a year. Such selfless individuals. Everybody in a great space in life who need not be doing this, okay, what they are doing. But I think I have been so taken up. And yeah, so Ira, this is how I got into, and I, as I said, I was studious. I finished the course in 6 months.
I think everybody out there in that group, it's an incredible group. Everybody is there because of something or the other. They have their own journeys, that have brought them together.
Yeah.
And that's why, working for a cause with a passion, it's not possible. I've never, in fact, when I was, admitted to that group, and within seconds of me landing there, and I think every newcomer would have felt the same way. There's a
Yes.
bombardment of welcome, and all that warmth is showered upon you. You are left wondering, is this real? So I think everybody has had a personal journey, and
Yeah.
that's why they're in that group, and that passion is there.
Nobody judges you. Nobody wants to know what position you're holding outside that group and that community. You naturally feel like reciprocating because you were given that kind of a warm welcome into the group. Um, kind of stories that you hear from the people, okay, who are in the group, and from where they have come, gotten up, fallen, gotten up, dusted their backs, motivated themselves, and they are all out there. One point agenda, Ira, is to spread so much information, knowledge to all those people sitting out there to listen in that, hey, there is something here like this which can help you lead a good life. You don't have to suffer from the age of 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, whatever.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
pretty awesome. Neeta, how has the knowledge, once you took admission in or got enrolled in the dLife diploma program, how has been the experience and how has the knowledge that you acquired helped you in your personal life, people around you? How has it equipped you, basically?
Um, so actually, Ira, Now it's been 24 months from the time I started following the ideologies of what dLife.in propagates and promotes. The first time in my life ever, I have not put back my weight on. Okay. This has come from, yeah, this has come from an understanding um, from all the gurus who are sitting out there, from the course that I have done. I had no idea that what I start putting on my tongue first can do something to the insulins in the released in the pancreas, and how overproduction of insulin can get, and you can just get diabetes out of it. Fruits, how that fructose can become alcohol and what your liver has to do and work overtime. I mean, I learned this only from the course, that we traumatize our bodies in so many innocent, intentional, and unintentional ways, that your body is so good. It tries to keep you out of the danger as much as it can. Only when you kind of bash it up like that and don't listen to all the signals that it is trying to send, these things start happening to me. The things that happening to one, and the things that happened to me today, I can relate it as to why I was going in this one after another sequential health crisis era. The course has taught me that sorry, everything starts from an underlying metabolic issue. I had no idea what a metabolic disorder was. I learned that from the course. Today, I love peanuts, okay? And I used to call for them in the office almost every day, because I read somewhere that in low carb you can have peanuts. But I know for a fact, after hearing Arun and everybody else and Sashi and the course itself, that it has oxalates and it is not good for you. So that is the understanding I've got. I'm human. I do fall back in and out, but I don't fall back as often, Ira. And only somebody who can do this course will understand. It is sad that, sometimes when you take your own example and start telling people, not everybody understands it, and I don't blame them. Um, I've always been told that when it comes from within, only then you can change yourself. It's simple. You can take to the horse to the pond, but cannot make him drink until he wants to drink. And when you see the difference in yourself, that's what makes you kind of crusade then.
Neeta, have you been able to help other people also around you based on the knowledge that you got from this course? And what would you call the highlight of this course really is? It's of course low carb, but in relation to all that you have done after doing this course, what do you think is the highlight of this course? Why people, even for their own benefit, should do the course and get that knowledge?
Very well asked, Ira. In fact, my my um, my take on dLife.in, and I'm not here to advertise for anybody. I'm a working professional. I will answer your first question little later if I have been able to help anybody. Okay, I have been helped here first to begin with. Okay, for all those who are listening in today and who will eventually listen in, without mincing words, I just want to say that dLife is the place. It's a one-stop shop for and understanding everything to do with metabolic disorder and underlying diseases, type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular issues, autoimmune disorders, PCOS, menopause. Ira, with my fitness and this, I have breezed through my menopause. I haven't even felt it. But for some little arguments with my husband, switch on the AC, switch off the AC, and more fan, less fan, I, I have sailed through it, touch wood. And I have seen cases of menopause where people have gone into depression, mood swings, suicidal, and I've seen it myself. So, anyways, coming back to the dLife part of it, I had no idea what an iconic group this is. I just read that And I heard from you in your introductory talk just now that we were a part of the prestigious Icons of India award in the Outlook by the Outlook. I didn't know that. So we're talking
dLife
about
is the only award-winning platform, only award-winning Indian platform. As I said in the introduction, that is about 3,000 plus combined success stories. The resources that
3,000
we
plus
have.
combined,
Yeah.
yeah, treasure trove of curated data here. I'm talking about 2,000s and 3,000s of recipes, which which are all put there. Not just the recipes. You click on it, see how beautifully it has been curated. It can tell you what is the nutritional value,
Yes.
calories. It can tell you what carbs, what fat, what protein. You can
And
design
it's been
your
posted by the members themselves. These are
yes,
all original recipes, and I think in the Metabolic Health Conference,
yes.
Dr. David Unwin talked about it. Now, David Unwin is known to most of the people. He's, as I call him, he's the doyen of low carb in the world.
Wow.
David Unwin was the first to review, in fact, the dLife
Oh,
platform, and he recalled that in the Metabolic Health Conference. And he said that, because people approached him for a lot of things, for recipes, and he wants people to enjoy food, he goes to dLife website, to the
uh,
dLife platform, and, takes or, probably learns about the new recipes from there and helps his people. So I think that is a great validation. Besides Dr. David Unwin, there's Gary Fetke, again, iconic, who has reviewed the dLife's, platform. So I think not only,
dLife is global, Ira.
yes,
dLife is
yes.
global, and I'll just finish a little more on the course because I have done it from basics to hardcore nutritional facts and sciences, sports nutrition,
Mhm.
benefits from fitness and exercise, fasting, vitamins, supplementation, minerals, macros, micros. I don't think anybody can cover the way this has been curated. It is sheer hard work of Anup and the core team who sets this entire syllabus going. And I think I haven't seen anything like this. It is, I have done courses on international platforms, okay, through Coursera, here, there, and all that. If not equal, we are above all of them in terms of content, the videos that we have of international doctors, speakers, this kind of precious information that is sitting there as data has to be accessed and spread. And that can only happen with us, more and more people promoting dlife.in and people joining
Mhm.
dlife.in
I think
and
we're the
having
only
that.
ones who are also saying and doing low carb nutrition course with a focus on metabolic diseases remission.
Yes.
That is our USP, and that's how we are different. That's how we have 3,000 plus success stories on the platform. And that's no mean job. I mean, you would know by now, the
Yeah.
resources that you have seen.
Yes.
I think they're absolutely priceless. We were unique in the maybe in the world also, I would say.
Precious, to be cherished actually. And I don't know how many people have attended the MHC, the Metabolic Health Conclave, recently concluded. You had validation from medical doctors, okay, not just nutritionists. That speaks a vol, and internationally so. I think that speaks volumes and volumes about where dLife, dLife is headed to an up and up and up graph just now.
Mhm. I think yesterday or day before yesterday, I think 2, 3 days back, I just came across this clip, which I watched thrice actually. Mandar's session with Dr. Brian Lenskis in the
Ah,
Metabolic Health Conference. And every doctor has said this, again and again during that entire conference. And Dr. Lenskis is saying that, I am just amazed how you brought 47 speakers and all top of the line on one platform. This is iconic, never been done before. So I
hmm.
think that's what was historic about it. It just gives me, that rush whenever I
Such
think
a
about
pleasure, adrenaline rush.
it. So, Neeta, coming back to a very positive change that you brought in your life, you had told me you already started eating eggs once you became a
Oh,
hotelier.
yes.
Yeah. And tell us about your journey. And then you started thinking about bettering your diet, and then you thought of getting into carnivore. Tell me how that happened, Neeta. How did a thought in a conservative Rajasthani girl who was kind of skeptical of eating even eggs, think of going carnivore.
Not easy. It wasn't easy. The mental block is the hardest to overcome. Okay. Because, and mindset is also the strongest. So you are basically at a conflict with heart, tradition, religion, this, that, and so many things keep coming to you. Um, I'll tell you, I was having eggs. Chicken I would have if made in my style. Okay, my style is cover it up and camouflage it, and it shouldn't taste like kitchen. Kitchen, I'm saying, sorry, chicken. But on a serious note, when I watched your own episode of your healing and remission from your neuropathy, which is so rare and one of a kind healing that you have done with carnivore diet. I've taken baby steps since then, which is very recent, Ira. From the time I chanced upon your journey, I heard you and I met you in person also, and we discussed this at length. The day you were in front of me, that day, I think I put the first morsel or bite of sheikh kebab, lamb
Yes.
sheikh kebab in my mouth. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I have started having that, taking baby steps. I combine it with a little bit of a whey and paneer. I'm not totally carnivore as yet, but I am seeing differences and I can see my skin getting better and my energies are more better than I would be on a low carb or a keto with carnivore diet. Time will tell. I'm very positive that I'm going to go fully carnivore and I'm going to, for now, restrict it to chicken, fish, eggs, of course, mutton in this mashed format. This is how you asked me to go about it, and you're my
Omits.
coach. I'm going to do that. Yes, this is the other day. I was surprised when I told my husband. I said, Nikhil, I want to try a small piece of bacon. Let's see. I'm just thinking in my head. I will cross that bridge when I can. The other question, Ira, you asked me if I have been able to influence my ecosystem, so to say, my people around me. Some are, I think, on the call just now. Ask them. I have my own little group of my close circle, okay, who I feel, and wherever I can on my social media and all, I call sugar poison. I tell them every day, in my office, there is no place for creamers, milk, sugar. Everything is green, black, green, black, green, black, brown. That's it. You cannot have all these things. I'm a hotelier. Um, I have I have promoted it with the chefs in our hotels, and our hotels are big names actually here, to have a low carb section in the menu. They themselves, from the recipe bank here and from the research, they themselves can make more than 300 items of keto low carb style in all the courses, entree to main course to desserts to what may you have, okay, snacks, everything. So that is that. I make sure that I push fitness as much as possible within my inner circle and convince those who get convinced, get convinced. There are a few who are now following this disciple. And I hope our stories of people like us goes out there and they can. There would be candies and lollipops at check-ins at the reception counter. I said, and every kid would go at check-in, go and take 2 lollipops. I banned it in our hotels. I said, you
Such
cannot
a
do this.
positive change, yeah.
Yeah.
Neeta, what is your typical meal that you eat in a day?
Simple, Ira. I like to eat simple food. I go by the 16-8. In fact, not even 16-8. 18-6 is my comfortable zone just now in intermittent fasting. Within this, I I am a low carb. I'm not keto. I can't sustain being a keto. I want to, but I cannot. So, oh my God, I have to talk about this. Anup almost has a patented 100 grams of carbohydrates that can be had in the else low carb format. Am I right?
Yes, Anup, actually, I've talked about it in my introduction, and I think now
I
it's
missed that.
known also. Anup is the one who pioneered the idea of after his own diabetes, and he was trying to find remission, and in that journey, he founded the idea, not founded, but kind of pioneered the idea of limiting carbs at 100 grams for diabetes remission in a low carb diet for Indians. So that's how, a lot of people found it working for themselves. And Anoop's history is replete with that. In the earlier forum that he was in, he changed a lot of lives. And here we have 3,000 success stories, combined success stories. So I think that says a lot about what he pioneered and how it worked for people.
So I go heavy on protein and I go 100 grams carb. Fat, I still fear that good fat also. I do fear it, to be honest with you. So that's moderate for me. And I have had very good conversations with Sashi also on these things. And so selflessly, he just tells me that, Neeta, this is how it should be. I am happy with the space that I am in. I'm off my BP medications for the last 2 years. Nothing, zilch. I don't have diabetes. I think at 52, I'm blessed, lucky to have a, a good life, good friends, good people. And I think I'm really, really blessed. Touch wood.
Yeah, Neeta, that's a wonderful story you told us. Absolutely inspiring. I think so many people here who are in a similar situation or know somebody who's in a similar situation, they would identify with you. And as is the last question, Neeta, would you like to give out a message for all those people who think it's the end of the road kind of for them? Or even for
Yeah.
people who are interested in health and nutrition and, all of that?
Yes, I think I'm a living example. My life is out there for anybody. I have the ear for anybody who wants to talk to me one on one. Also, how did I do it and what did I do? Yes, literally, when I met with my car accident,
Hmm.
if you believe in me, Ira, I saw the white light at the end of the tunnel. Your life comes out in a PowerPoint presentation, tuck, 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 like that. I've seen that. I've come out from there and I had corrective surgeries from there. I think if I can, anybody and everybody can. We cannot take the gift of life just like that casually and be there. I mean, we go everywhere. We are seeing obesity. We are seeing, I feel for them now. When I see people sitting with paunches and cannot even bend down, I feel I want to go and tell them, hey, you're so young. You can correct this. In India, what has happened, Ira, is that all of us have been eating a lot of carbs. Coupled with that, now we are telling our children to eat donuts, we are telling them to eat pizzas, we are telling them to eat pastas. My God, it's a horrifying ordeal. We have no idea what we are getting into. So my only message is that stay clean, keep it simple. Please adopt the low carb regimen. You don't have to thank anybody else but yourself if you can get into this way of life, way of eating. Give your gut some kind of a rest. Let the energy be used elsewhere, not into just digesting the poison that we are feeding it all the time. That's my message. The other message, Ira, is for dLife.in, for Anup, Sashi, Arun, you, Ira, the main core members, and everybody. I can't take everybody's name. Everybody is special to me here. You are a family. My support is unwavering, and I commit to that.
Thank you so much, Neeta. I think just one point. Today morning, I think Shashi had made a tweet about eating nariyal chutney with omelets, and there
Huh,
was the usual, mainstream messaging, and I had quote tweeted that, and I had said that eating omelets with ketchups is fine, but tomato chutney nariyal chutney is not. So somewhere people have to realize what has brought us here will not take us back. If you want
yes.
something different to happen, you have to take charge, change your own, and you will be there. Neeta is the best example for that. I mean, look at the change that she's brought in her own life, not only physically but emotionally and every way else. Neeta, thank
Never
you
give
so
up.
much.
Never give up.
Never
Mandar
give.
wrote something very interesting. It should not be intermittent fasting. It should be intermittent eating.
Yes,
How deep is that?
yeah, absolutely. So, Neeta, thank you so much for being here. If you want to reach out to Neeta, I'm talking to my audiences. Neeta, would you please give out your handle on Twitter?
Yes, it is KNOTTED, knotted braid, BRAID. All knotted up, but it's pretty simple. So it is Neeta Brid, but I've just made it into a funky one, knotted braid.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to reach out to me about this podcast or anything, they can, my handle is the Ira Sahay, and I go by the name of Low Carb Healer. So with this, we come to the end of the podcast, another wonderful podcast of dLife.in podcast series. I would request Shashi and everybody to come live, to unmute and come on video.
Wow, Ira.
What a wonderful podcast.
My
What
God,
an
Ira,
inspiring story.
1 hour with you, it's been fabulous. It's my honor from the bottom of my heart, really.
So, Neeta, we never knew the story behind. This is such a big story, actually. And I never knew that you had myasthenia gravis also. I know this because I used to sell a medicine for myasthenia gravis long back. So I know that condition is not very easy and can cause death also with all that muscle freezing.
Yes.
And it's really a big. I'm frankly surprised. I never knew the story behind. I just thought, okay, it's a
more
battle.
often, Sashi. We have to meet more often.
Really, and so happy to hear. And I think the world should need to know this story. So that's why, just like the other stories, so it's good that you came in this platform so that everyone knows that there is a hope. They can adopt this practice and resolve many of the health issues. So you are again one of those cases where 4, 5, 6, 7 issues you are resolved just by cutting down carbohydrates. I think it's really wonderful. Really,
I have a pre and post dLife life. Pre dLife, I was only researching medicines. Post dLife, I'm only researching nutrition.
Great.
Hand on my heart, Sashi. Really.
Really great. Really.
I
so
think
happy to hear, so inspiring.
Yeah. I was looking for, if anybody has a question, we can quickly take up and end the session.
More
I think you are getting a lot of congratulatory messages, Neeta. Not much everybody. To ask because we've covered the journey in great detail, but everybody's congratulations for you. Everybody's greeting you, giving you their love. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
This platform for me is a very, very big thing, really. Thank you so much for having me, dLife.in, Anu, Sashi, Ira. Thank you. This podcast almost got cancelled, right? I'm so glad it happened.
Yes. So I think there are no questions, but a lot of congratulatory messages. Thank you, everybody, for your love. Thank you, Neeta, for your time. Thank you for this wonderful, inspiring, beautiful journey. You're one gritty.
Thank you for your 2 hours, 1.5 hours of weekend for me. And Ira, you behind the scenes, what you've done for me, I can never forget. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to Nikhil also for inspiring Neeta so much. Nikhil is an inspiration to everybody. He's one of the fittest, people I've seen. He's going to like to come on camera. If you would please unmute and come on camera, please. He's going to be on dLife soon. I don't know if. Yeah, so I think Nikhil is not wanting to probably come. Is that it? Yeah. Anyways, I think. Anyway, between the two of us, I am the talker, so it's okay. Okay. So, Shashi, are we